Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Greubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists. It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hey guys, it's Stacy Barnett from Canine Detection Collaborative, and I am here with my two fantastic co-hosts, Robin Greubel.
Hello.
And Crystal Wing.
Hey guys.
And we just wrapped up 2 incredible weeks of training, and we wanted to do a little bit of a download on that. So we had distraction camp levels 1 and 2 back to back. It's a lot of moving parts there, a lot of training and a lot of instruction. And we just want to kind of cover a little bit about the camp itself. It really was phenomenal and just so inspirational seeing progress in the students. So that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, it was. So we have to apologize to the level 1 camp because we had the middle of August in July.
Oh,
it was beastly hot. And the week 2, the level 2 campers ended up getting late May in August.
Right.
And so with the weather being all sorts of wacky, but everybody was so good about making sure everybody stayed hydrated and making adaptations to the 1.5 inches of rain that we got. So
we had to make accountability buddies because we were like, hey guys, we got to make sure that you're taking care of each other because it's so easy to get caught up in what you're doing. And we even had to do it for ourselves. Like we had 3 assistants and they were
amazing.
They were fabulous.
So it was great because they were constantly like, hey, Stacy, are you hydrating? Hey, Crystal, are you hydrating? It's like,
yes,
my answer was, need water?
No.
Yeah. And then Julia, she's like, I don't drink water. What?
We're like, this is not a right answer. Yes. So she ended up living on Gatorade for 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, watching the growth in the campers, and what's really interesting is the I call them campers, but it's distraction camp. So sorry, guys. Watching the growth in the campers was amazing. And then Crystal does such an amazing job of corralling Stacy and I to make sure that we are teaching in a logical flow.
Oh my gosh, it got really bad. Like the end of the second week, Crystal's just like, okay, you go there, you go here. She was we got everything done. I'm like, I don't even know which end is up. And Crystal had us completely corralled.
And I was really proud of the resource sheet that I was able to kind of put together for everybody because that was ended up being over 30 pages of resources and handouts we made. And I think that if they take full advantage of those sheets, that'll keep them busy for several months after, because it was really a lot of thought went into the resource sheet alone.
Well, and I think that's something important for one of the things to note, that all 3 of us have spent a lifetime acquiring knowledge and resources from other places, and then we've synthesized it in certain ways. So sometimes we cite sources appropriately and probably over appropriately, because if somebody wants to delve down a rabbit hole, they need to know where we got it. And that's what our resource sheets are for. And I think that that's one thing that happens in the dog training community a lot is all 3 of us are very aware of appropriate citation of where you got your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to connect them with those resources that we've pulled together to let them kind of go, okay, yeah, I want to know more about that. That always feels really good to be able to connect them with the people that I got it from, knowing that it's just going to keep growing and growing. That ripple that starts that's the most exciting piece for me.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And I also loved the advocating part that I feel like the handlers came in, the trainers came in, being able to advocate for themselves and their dogs, but they really did a fantastic job of that. And there were so many moments that I've been to other seminars that I haven't seen that level of comfort, I guess, and being able to say that's my dog's not quite ready for that, or I'm not quite ready for that. And it was a really magical thing. And that was the other kind of highlight that I think I took from both weeks was the handlers being able to say, can we adjust this? Or how can we adjust this?
Yeah.
And that was really special.
The other thing is the suspension of belief or doubt, right? Because this happened last year too, where people came in and they're kind of like, they're coming in like, oh, we're going to do like all these searches or whatever. And the way that we have it planned out is we build up the capability to work through the distraction in a very systematic way. And they have to kind of suspend their belief a little bit. They're like, whoa, we're doing a lot of this play stuff and all that. And I think it's a surprise, I think, to some of the handlers and for them to see how powerful doing that sort of progression is. By the end of the week, they're all like, we hear comments like life altering, which is kind of cool. We've heard that several times. It's really kind of cool. But to see how things like adding in the play and a lot of the engagement and all that, and how that builds and grows their ability to work through distraction, I think it also elevates their understanding of the importance of those elements. And I love the fact that they kind of like suspend that kind of, they're like, what? What are we doing? And then by the end, they're just like, this is incredible. And that was really cool to see.
I think one of the things that I'm very proud of is that we have started abolishing the word just.
Exactly.
In the fact that I'm going to play with my dog. Because I just want to play.
Right.
No, I want to play with my dog, and playing with your dog is actually an incredibly powerful opportunity for you to learn about a whole bunch of stuff. So distraction.
Play is practicing reinforcement, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And relationship building. So yeah.
Absolutely. And Crystal is like our play queen.
Yep.
And so having her talk students through, and every time I listen to it, I always learn like new little tidbits, and I'm like, oh, well, duh.
Yes.
Yes. It's funny how it always has like I love how the group is always interactive, and they bring in questions. And one of the things you know what, too, my brain is so fried of like, oh yeah, someone asked this on a post, but no, that was in person. And that was because I made a thing with Checkmate with the mule. And I'm like, so I wanted to show about the herding instinct and how we can kind of give him that diet Pepsi, as Simone Mueller calls it, with the, I can't let him go herding stuff because, well, it's cows and he'll die. And I can't let him go herding
be bad.
the Kawasaki mule because, well, you get run over. But I can give him the opportunity to be able to kind of go with me and use an obedience kind of thing with it to give him the feeling, the desire of that, but without letting him get hurt. And I'm like, I'm going to make a post on this. And I took a lovely little video and our progression of the last 2 days. And I was putting that together last night. And I'm like, I'm going to share this on that post. And I couldn't find the post. And I kept looking. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It didn't exist?
No, because that was from our conversation we had on Distraction Camp 1 on a whole play sequence. And so it's just so funny to me. So I'm still going to post it on my CBK9. So that way it's there, but it's one of those where you just get lost from like, oh, is this real life or was it social life, or
where does it all fit? Yes.
Yeah. But kind of playing to what you were saying, Robin, it's interesting how when people make little aha moments in our conversations, and then it kind of takes you down a different little culvert of ideas. And so every time that I feel like just the people that are there really help kind of guide what everybody needs in that moment, that then also helps other people. So it's really cool how those conversations happen in real time and in real life.
It is. And if you want to see those videos, you have to join Crystal's Facebook group.
So
we'll have the link to that in the show notes as well. So.
Yeah. And I share some stuff on our Facebook page already, so I'll be easy to find.
I think it was amazing to watch the students be able to recognize where their dogs were at, because after the third day, especially on level 1, we kind of start kicking people out of the nest, because the whole point is to give the students the skills so that when they go home, they have it themselves. And I think people underestimate the ability to read a dog in a new environment and to be able to practice the skills here. But I think all three of us have the philosophy of we just don't want to give a person a fish. We actually want them to be able to fish. And in order to do that, we actually have to provide you with a lot of the theoretical knowledge that goes behind why we have to do certain things or why certain things are important, which actually requires a whole lot of people training in order to make the dog training go really, really well. And so I appreciate it is the lack of, or it's the ability for the students to look at us and go, okay, we're going to trust you.
Yeah. It did require trust because it's like, okay, I'm going to trust the process.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to, because it's a really cool program. People have said, oh, can we do like distraction camp light? I'm like, no,
sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can't condense this. It's
interesting. You can't condense it. And the progression on how we have people moving through the different spaces in the farm is very, very deliberate.
The farm is critical to it.
Yeah. And when all of that is within 100 yards of where you've parked your car most of the time.
Right.
You can flow through stuff. Plus you get to pet mini donkeys all the time.
Especially Liberty.
Yeah.
Cutest baby mini donkey.
Ever.
Yep.
I think that's something that I've really found a passion from the last 2 weeks. I keep thinking, what do I want to do when I grow up? Because this whole thinking about retirement in 4 years, I really feel like these last 2 weeks has made me want to lean toward teaching humans how to teach and helping them figure out how to set up seminars and how to set up their curriculum and their classes. And I'm really excited about kind of that idea because the feedback that I got from students just felt really empowering. And so they inspired me to consider that as a future option. So I'm excited about kind of where that can go.
That's, agreed.
And I'll just give kudos to Crystal because back to the first, what we started talking about is she was definitely hurting us cats.
Yes.
And we all came up with all the ideas. It's not like I did it, but it's but it was cool to be able to kind of organize the thoughts and kind of put it into a progression that could flow and everything built on each other and it all built day to day, and then kind of putting on the little nuances and then organizing all the assistants and like all the notes with like, this color is the location and this color is your job and this color is your job, and everybody kind of having that flow so it could stay,
And that's just like, I think it actually ended up evolving almost into a drinking game, which we weren't drinking during camp.
And I don't drink. So there's that.
And you don't drink. And so it literally became how many times did this version of the flow for day 4 change?
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially for level 2 with the rain.
Oh, yeah. That was like a J4 remix, right?
Yes.
So it was every night we look at the thing for the next day and we print it off, and then something invariably changed by noon.
Exactly.
So that's why I love you guys. You guys both, like I would have an idea and go, oh, this would be so much better if we could do this. And you're both like, okay, do it.
Rock on.
Like,
go right ahead.
We're getting ready to start the lecture.
Flow and I'm like, what areas are we using this morning? I just like, oh my gosh. It's like,
at least that didn't change. That was one thing I stayed consistent on.
I know, but then, we were working on Distraction Camp 1 in the evenings, and I'd be having the conversations about level 2 in my level 1 brain. And I'm just having to figure out the conversation that we had. Was that for level 2? Was it for level 1? Like, just, I don't know. We did it. It ended up really, so.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. It was interesting to watch for me, day 1 is always the play day, right? For level 1.
Right.
And to see the skill improvement from day 1 to day 5.
Yes.
And then the absolute joy.
Yes.
When the campers from year 1 came to to camp level 2.
And they were totally different.
Yes. And because you haven't seen them in a year.
Yeah. Or bits and pieces. And it was just like, whoa, skills.
Yeah. And then to watch that progression just happen.
Yeah.
And we started with 2 minutes of play with them too. And then the nice thing was they were all at the level where any suggestions that we may have were just slight tweaks.
Yeah.
But that whole concept of, and then seeing in the level 2 how the tools that we gave them along with their natural abilities, because, we won't take all the credit for their progress.
Oh, no, not at all.
Right.
Oh my gosh, they're
They were amazing.
Fantastic trainers.
Yeah.
That's a special group right there.
It really is.
And they let us experiment on them. So we really appreciate
we even told
it.
them, we're experimenting on you. And they're
Yes.
like, oh, okay. That sounds good.
But we were able to take every single suggestion they made for the ones that did the surveys.
Yeah.
We took every suggestion and we made sure that we applied that into level 2. And so that felt really good. And then even being able to have the conversations to say, hey, because they were all, the funny thing is when you're on day 3 and they're like, well, next year, it's like, you guys.
We're like, wait a minute.
Well, So now we have to think about what does level 3 look like. And I think we have a couple of ideas, but we have
some ideas. Well, and
it'll be good. Whatever it is, it'll be good.
With level 2, the students, it's so amazing as an instructor when you have a group of students who push you as an instructor to find tools that you can give them, because it really started becoming about teaching a group of peers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's always a fun, interesting, and challenging place to be.
Yeah.
And it can be scary for some people. I think about with teaching high school art. I have high school kids that will come in and they have surpassed my artistic ability. And it's like, whoa, what do you do? And honestly, those are the most exciting kids that I have.
Yep.
Because there's so much that I can still give them. And it's not something necessarily to be afraid of. It's about then everybody pushing together and finding new places to kind of take them and kind of bringing your angle to it. And there's a lot of teachers out there, in the high school world that freak out. They're like, this kid is better than I'll ever be. And it's like, oh no, there is so much you can give that kid because you've been around doing it for a very long time. And there's so many angles you can take. They don't even know that are possible yet. And that's what I feel like we did with some of the people in Distraction Camp too, because there are some trainers in there that I thought, wow, they've surpassed me in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of other things that I have to offer from different angles. And that's the exciting part that I find with working with the advanced trainers.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then a couple of them went, they actually trialed right after and just
they did
killed it
the next day.
The next day,
drove to another state the next day.
They're like, now I have to take my lunch to go because I have to drive to a trial. And I'm like, how are you even going to remember your name the next day? Because I am so tired.
Oh, and level 2,
I'm still trying to remember that myself.
We had 10 searches on that Thursday because we got rained out on Wednesday. We couldn't even do indoor searches on Wednesday because the lightning was so bad. We couldn't take a chance. Yeah, we couldn't take a chance of going out and getting your dogs from the car to even go back inside. The lightning was so bad. So we had to totally remix everything, but it worked out. But man, that was a lot. My favorite thing though, in level 2 was all the reading a dog.
Yes.
The way that evolved, that's
wow. I love that. I love
Yes. I think that's going to be some cool resources to figure out how to share out. I'm honestly thinking about doing an ebook kind of thing or something
that
other
would be
people
lovely.
Can use. Yeah. There's so many things that we keep getting from these that we pull together.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be
that could be cool.
Limited to the few people that can actually be here. Yeah. So I think there's a lot that we could put together and offer out. But
because it wasn't just reading the dog in Odor, which I think there's been a lot out there that we can build off of, but it was also reading the focus level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how focused
the arousal,
the arousal, all those different pieces. So it was a really kind of cool way of looking at that,
Well, and it's not only is it all of that stuff, but it's the reading the dog while it's on target odor.
Yep.
And then reading dog when it's not on target odor, but doing
novel odor
sniffing thing.
Yeah.
And then also, how do you safely or productively interrupt that and not shut your dog down or all of those sorts of things? And it actually turns into the finer points of handling. And because all of these people that came to this level 2 and even level 1 are owner handler trainers.
Exactly.
And so they train their own dogs.
Exactly.
Which I'm assuming a lot of our audience is. But you also have those people who are now training dogs for other people and selling them. And some of the stuff that we're talking about are really, that's master level canine trainer stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was invaluable.
Yeah.
It took me back to when I very, very first started doing this with Yukon, and I didn't know if it was Odor or not. And I told him no. and it was Odor. And then how far that was, it just set me back so much. Because then he was like, "Oh, am I not supposed to find that now?" And I'm like, "No, you can find that, but just not the other thing."
Yeah.
And those are those skills. I mean, I'm talking, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
But still, like you think about those, and it's the handling side of that becomes so crucial because you kind of over exaggerate sometimes because, when we have the distractions that we had out there, we had mouse booty and, and donkey poo and
dead squirrel. And
I mean, so there's some extremes. And then it's interesting because what really started tripping people up, bread.
Cheetos. Hello.
Bread and Cheetos, I think, were the big things this year.
Yeah, last year was
totally
pickles.
Also learn on bread and Cheetos. Like, you can keep your mouse butt, whatever, but I will take bread and Cheetos all day.
Yeah.
The catfish bait and all the weird stuff,
Yeah.
I love, and it was so interesting that the catfish bait ended up, they would do sniff, but then they would dismiss it.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But the bread, and I think some of that became, the dogs were investigating it, and they were investigating it so long that some of the handlers were calling alert.
Right.
When they were still just doing the, that's yummy, like blissing on their carbs. And so
hashtag relate.
Right. Yeah.
Who went through a box of s'mores that week?
Oh my gosh. Well,
talk about Hawaiian rolls.
People were bringing Hawaiian rolls.
That's s'mores. Like that was my first
microwavable s'mores.
Microwavable s'more. Yeah,
it's a thing. No fireplace needed.
So one of our students actually commented, like she went off and did a trial and they had containers. And her comment was, "Well, I'm not expecting anything dead in the boxes, so I think we're good." So it became like this, like, you think that little cracker is going to be a big deal? Yeah. There's nothing dead in here, I don't think. So
nothing dead, or even the rotten turkey, I think, was something too.
Oh, well, they also had the distractions that were a week old.
Yes.
From Camp 1.
Right.
That had been sitting out in the 4-car garage, like not refrigerated. Like was some.
There was some really
rank.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and we did not have anybody who wanted to roll in the boxes. So that was good.
Right.
And then when we unleashed some of the distractions for level 2, the dogs were like, meh, well, whatever.
Yeah, that's weird, but okay.
Okay. Not going to fool me, people.
It's funny when you have a couple trainers that we thought, okay, well, you don't have any kryptonite. You don't have anything that the dog is just like, I have to have that thing.
Right.
And so then I started suggesting like, well, we could do this, this, and this, but I'm going to tell you, I don't want to do any of that. So my brain can go in really creative ways to really try to make something that's going to be just terribly distracting.
Right.
But why would you do that? Let's not use this time to create a problem. So that I think that was an important point too, for knowing how far to take distractions. I think that for every dog, we did a good job of kind of advocating for the handler and the dog and trying to figure out what level that they were ready for and pushing them to exceed in that. And I think, we didn't get to do our final exam because we had
everybody was tired
in tears.
Yeah. Well,
everybody was tired,
but we always end up with like almost like a kumbaya ending because people are so, I think, overwhelmed with all the things they've been through. But we ended up doing longer on our Like Wish Wonders at the last, and then we didn't get a chance to actually do our final exam piece.
Which I think everybody was okay with.
Yeah. That was pretty powerful. You had me choked up, dude.
Oh God! Oh my God! Yeah,
awesome.
When Robin was talking, I had like tears in my eyes.
You guys are funny.
Oh my God.
I think it's incredibly important for people to know that the students coming in, knowing that they have to work, they have distractions, they're going to work, put themselves in a very vulnerable position.
Oh yeah.
And it's
this was not a camp to come and show off. Like it wasn't like, oh, we're just gonna run some cool hides, whatever. It was literally, we're gonna really put you through the ringer, but you're going to have like an amazing outcome on the
well,
back end.
and I think it's really interesting because even our own dogs have distractions.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, and
Oh God, yeah.
having the students understand that, yeah, I can set up certain stuff so that my dog has to work past Crystal.
That was a good session. That was a really good session.
Crystal is Nico's favorite toy.
With a tug toy in her hand.
Yeah, a tug toy in her hand in the middle of our search area is like mind blowing for him. And so for anybody who, I mean, I want the people who do dual purpose work to think about it. I'm asking my dog to basically do detection work with a decoy standing in the middle of his search area.
Right.
And so when we do stuff like that, yes, it's directly related to odor, but I will never deploy with Crystal standing in the middle of my search area.
But if he can do that, you never know what other distraction could be that high. And now he can work past it.
Right. And now we go back to work. So hopefully when that deer pops out in the middle of nowhere, I can recall him and we just go back to work. It's not a big deal. So that's the type of transferable skills that we're talking about. It's not just about random donkey poop in your area. It's actually a framework on how to work through. Yeah, for you it is.
For me it is. Yep. Brava for that. That's her deal.
That's her kryptonite. But working
that is
the framework that we've put together and walk people through, it was interesting to learn at how a couple of students are like, well, I'm applying to this framework now to all of my training.
Yes.
And it's not just odor work, it's everything.
It's not just odor work. Exactly. It's everything.
No justs. It's not odor work.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Oh,
it's applying to everything. Yes.
That's right.
So we put a lot of modifiers on some of the stuff we do. Stop doing that, people. No more just anything.
Yep. Good catch, because you don't even know that you're doing it. It's like you just do it and you don't even know you're doing it.
Right.
And, but I
want to share my aha. Are you cool with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Go for it.
There was a conversation we had, I think it was Distraction Camp 1 in the evening. And we were kind of talking about our red and our pink that we talk about in previous episodes. That was the TMAC. If you're close to odor, it's red. And as it gets further away, it turns pink. And I kept rethinking it. And I really like the idea of the environment and everything around is white. And it's adding the white little bits to the red. And I know that Robin's, your webinar is coming up, isn't it, about all of that?
The registration is now live. And I believe by the time this episode launches, you guys had better register today because it's on Thursday. So I'm doing a whole red to pink, the odor availability spectrum. And so, we sit in the basement or up around the kitchen table because Crystal and Stacy are still here. And we still
dining room table here.
Yep.
By the time this airs, I'm not here anymore. I'll be back at work.
Well, neither one of you will be here. Yeah. So but to have those training conversations as trainers to help clarify to students how we can appropriately convey that particular idea. Crystal, your idea of not only as the further odor gets away from source, it becomes more dilute, but to also think about how it picks up the surrounding molecules of its environment. That was a brain tickler.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking about odor pools and I just thought, they're right when they're in an odor pool, but they also are not, because it's no longer that same pure odor coming from the source. It's now mixed with everything in the environment. So it's not about it just being further apart, but it truly is a different color. And I think that's how we can work them through their odor pools, because we can see them turning around and doing their eddies, and we can see them kind of moving around, and then learning us as handlers of how to pull them through that to help them get to where it is going to be more intensely red with less of the white added to it. But then the thing that really hit me, so thinking about that and the paint and the colors with distractions, and I saw this with Radish and it was so beautiful. I haven't done a ton of containers with her because that's not something that is as prevalent with the SAR stuff that I do. So it was really exciting to get to do some containers with her. And so she got to learn how to do that this week or last couple of weeks. And when we started talking about the distraction as different levels kind of salience, And one distraction could be like knocking over a Dixie cup of paint. And it takes just a second to clean that up. But when you start knocking over a pint of paint or a quart of paint or a gallon of paint, it takes a long time to clean that up. And that's what I saw with her. And so the thing that I saw with her was the first distractor wasn't much, but it took her a second before she could get back into really recognizing the next box. And then when she hit her odor box, she was still, her brain, you could see, was still like processing the previous smells. And she was already 2 boxes past the correct odor. And she stopped and looked at me almost in shock, like, wait, did you smell that?
Oh my gosh.
It was just the most adorable thing. But I was almost in my head, because I'm very visual. I'm imagining, that like she's cleaning up all this mess of the previous odor. And then she's already on to the next one. And she's like trying to clean that up really fast. And she's like on the next, like, wait, don't clean that one up. I needed that one. And so she's like hustling back to try to go like, wait, where was that I found it? And it was just this really nice visual in my head that I don't quite know how to work it out yet, but I could see it. It was like, she was just trying to clean up the little messes of distractions before she could really take in the next. And being able to read that in your dog and have that practice is so cool. That was probably my biggest aha that I saw with my own training. And then I could really watch it with each of the dogs and seeing, because we would have them go by. Yeah, we'd have them see their odor. And then 2 or 3 seconds or past, they were like, wait a minute.
I have to go back to that one.
Yeah. Or they would sit or do a train final or a look back, and it could be on the wrong box even. But it was just the moment that they recognized it. And so it was really cool to get to watch that with all the different breeds and all the different styles of searching, and the nosework dogs that had different kinds of TFR, where it wasn't like a sit, a down, or a bark. It was more of a look back, or it was a freeze. And oh my gosh, I was so in love with watching that whole process.
Yeah. The transition between like after the dog notices a distraction, which is one of the reasons why we have to work this, because ultimately we don't want the dog to actually respond to it, because it gives you that blip in the dog's focus. They have that transition phase, right? Where they have to kind of go from I'm distracted to I'm working again. And for me, I picture a graph. You picture paint. Paint's probably an easier one to understand, because I'm just picturing like some sort of like a graph in my head. Engineer, sorry. So, but it's really cool to see. And I think it's so important to do this type of work, because if you don't do this sort of work, your dog is really going to get kind of out of get them out of the whole thought process in terms of target odor. And you can absolutely miss a hide. So you can, for instance, you can either fringe on a wrong container, or you could just completely miss the next hide.
Yeah.
So,
it's so cool to watch. And I did start to see some similarities. There's the experience level of the dog. That's huge.
Yeah.
But just trying to watch differences between like pointy-eared dogs versus floppy-eared dogs, and kind of what their purposes are genetically.
Right.
I also found that kind of interesting.
Right. Yeah. It really was fascinating. Really was fascinating. And
I had to play a lot with the spacing between the containers. So because she was a baby dog at it, I was taking every other container out, because then that would give her more process time in between. Yeah. And then when I started adding the containers back in, I also found myself kind of holding her back a little, almost making her process that a little, because she wanted to go to the next one a little too fast. And I'm like, no, you're not ready, baby girl. You're not. Yeah. And I know that we're a young team together, so it's fun getting to learn her and all the stuff that she needs. Yeah. So I enjoyed that a lot. I think too, that was one of the suggestions that our Distraction Camp 2 people gave us from last year, was they wanted us to work our dogs more. And it seems like that was really helpful for getting to explain the ideas and being vulnerable in front of others. And I enjoy doing that. I enjoy being able to go, hey, here is my training problem. And you guys are brilliant minds too. Like, let's all see this and work together through this.
It was amazing to watch, because in level 2, we assigned people to training groups. Yep. And the creativity that they came up with to tackle some of their kryptonites was awesome. Yes. And there was a couple of times where you'd stand there and you'd be like, I wouldn't have done it like that. But you know what? It worked.
Yeah.
And I think we forget that sometimes in dog training, that everybody gets kind of stuck on this is the method that you have to do. And the actual answer is as long as you're being kind to your dog and how you're training, meaning it's very simple, straightforward, and you've sliced things thin enough that how you get there, as long as the dog learns it effectively and efficiently, doesn't really matter.
Right. Really, it comes down to clarity and fairness.
Exactly.
If you're clear and you're fair, right?
Yes. I mean,
I'm kind.
yeah.
I'm kind. But
and we have a couple different I have a couple different definitions of kind now, but
absolutely,
it's one of those things for,
but the clear and the fair is just, exactly.
What is your kind, Robin? Do you want to talk about that?
So this comes from the learning environments. And I think we probably talked about this in one of the previous episodes about kind versus wicked learning environments.
Right.
And we're doing skills development in our dogs. So when we think about, and this is the example they used it came out of a book that I was reading, and then I went down a rabbit hole and found the research. I know, shocking. But So a kind learning environment works really, really well when you're doing skill development. So in humans, think golf, baseball, tennis, where you can give immediate, effective feedback on what just happened. Yep. And the next repetition allows the learner to make forward progress in learning that particular skill. And so I think about a lot of the stuff that we're doing with our dogs in that frame of reference, that we have skills we're trying to develop in the dog. So we need to create kind learning environments for our dogs. The opposite of that is a wicked learning environment where so much stuff is thrown and it's so convolutedly explained and put out there. And then the lesson is actually lost and the learner doesn't learn what you think you want it to. And one of the things that I always reflect on is the fact that often a lot of people are adding their sit cue. So their dog may not know how to sit verbally at a distance or down at a distance or whatever. And all of a sudden they throw out odor, which is an odor that the dog may or may not have been exposed to. And so the dog's got its nose on odor and you're standing 20 feet away and or even the dog's frame of reference is sit means I'm sitting right in front of you. So now you're standing 5 feet away and the dog's like, I don't know, I can't sit because I'm not sitting 2 feet from you. So now you're adding a new odor and you're adding a new cue that they haven't generalized. And so the lesson of sit at odor actually gets lost because you haven't created a kind learning environment. Yeah. So I'll put the name of the book. It's something about the death of expertise. I can't think of it at the moment off the top of my Audible. And that was one of those that I was listening to while sitting on a plane. And I was like, oh,
that's a good one.
I had a lot of light bulbs with that one. So I have not made it all the way through that particular book yet. So it's called Range by David Epstein.
Okay.
And so we'll post a link to that in the show notes so you guys can check that out for your non-dog related learning, which is sort of still dog related.
Everything's dog related. Like
exactly.
Anything you can think of, it can all come back to dog.
That reminds me of the video I did with the bulls on them not in the right location and how I got them in with the location. They were like, no, reinforcement location is bias. Location bias for where we get fed. Yes.
Yep. Loved it.
Yeah. That was also some of the fun that we had during distraction camp. So in the evenings we're taking care of bulls that have ouchies and
mini donkeys who are doing who knows what, and the chickens and baby chicks and seeing if we can't trap. At the first, I believe the first day we actually trapped 2 baby coons. We do live traps and then we appropriately relocate them far away from our farm. And I think we had 2 baby coons who decided to check out one of the live traps that first morning. And we decided that was probably escalating a little too far, a little too fast for our students.
A little bit.
So they went on a road trip before they got to meet anybody.
Yeah. The look of like terror when people said that we had baby raccoons are like, not in my search area. Not yet.
It's okay. Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe. Next week.
Yeah.
Level 2.
It was really cool too. We had one student that was able to do both weeks. And it was fascinating And she's also a college professor. So getting to see, just how that impacted her. And I thought that was kind of cool too. I didn't know if you guys wanted to kind of speak on that.
One, her mental stamina to be able to put up, holy buckets. I posted pictures of Crystal sleeping on Flash.
That was cruel.
It was cute.
We
should probably share that on our canon section.
It was very, very cute.
It was literally, oh my God, they both passed out and I'm sitting there. So their version of passing out is sleeping and I'm sitting there zoning out watching Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm also fighting some Lyme flare-up kind of stuff too. So that was...
Yeah. So
you're allowed. You know what? Don't make a justification for having to take some downtime. You don't have to.
Exactly. And listening to Emma talk about how she truly greatly appreciated the pedagogy that went on behind everything that we're doing. And it's funny. I'm like, I know what that word means, but that's all Crystal.
I you're going, I need to look up.
Oh my gosh. You guys are so funny.
Well, but it's how the organized flow stuff works and what skills are building on skills and all that sort of stuff that they're when
you have an educator on our trio team here,
it makes a really huge difference.
It's the details. It is the details that people, and it's cool when you have other educators that take the class and they see those details and it's like, oh, you saw it, even the simple stuff like what we considered our 5 basic distractors that we implemented that into our engagement sessions. So they were just noise, but they start getting layered in earlier. So it's not all of a sudden when they start to encounter them for the first time, it's not really the first time. And they didn't maybe even realize they've encountered these things. Right. And the same with our handlers. There's stuff that we layered in kind of subtly that they didn't realize the time pressure we were slowly starting to implement in, or some of the mental pressure of the games. Oh, and the badges. That was so fun. And
oh my gosh,
too. So level 1 was very disappointed that we thought about badges.
But I made a badge for them. We haven't sent it to them yet.
Yeah, we're gonna send them a badge. Okay. So level 1 gets a badge.
Because they were like, where are our badges? They're like, well, we kind of thought about it. Like,
we should make some games.
Yeah, we sort of thought of that on a Sunday at like 2:00 in the morning, sort of stuff.
Games. We're like, oh, and badges. Yeah, badges would be cool.
And it's so interesting because one of the things that we really started to do with level 2 is the challenge is not really the dogs anymore.
No, it was the people.
Because the dogs were on it. And so it's how do we create the internal pressure that and help start handlers recognizing how to recognize that mental pressure that goes on with competing or deploying or certifying or whatever you're going to do. And even how to advocate for themselves within their groups.
Make decisions based off the information that you have.
Yes.
In order to make sure that you're making good decisions for both the dog and for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the practice that people got advocating for themselves and advocating for their dogs in a safe learning environment was really crucial, I believe, to how far the teams progressed.
Yep.
And the rate at which they progressed during the week, because I'll tell you, we'd get done with one day and we're sitting down, we're like huddled in the basement. What do we do tomorrow? Oh my gosh.
We're like, we got to bump this up a notch.
Yeah. But it was easy to do because it was just simple little tweaks here and there. Yep. And that was really cool. I mean, we had the bones and it was just nice being able to each night come back together. And that's where I was so impressed with our assistants because man, they rolled with every punch and had everything organized. And how do we do this last year without all of the help? I mean, we had Nancy and Mama O, and they were just crucial.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't either.
I know that I did a lot of running.
Yes, we did.
Because it was, easily 20,000 step days every day.
Oh, yeah.
And there was just insane.
Yeah. I think my max this year was 16,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it was 16.
Mine was 18.9. So that means there's a lot less work this year.
That's right. That's right. No, they were incredible. And it was like, we would give them a job and they'd be like, they wouldn't bat an eye. Like, I'm like, I need a platter of donkey poop. Can you go get that for me? And they're like, okay. I take a picture of it with gloves.
Yeah. Oh,
like, hey, on a platter. Like, I just want like a garbage can lid with some donkey poop. And oh, by the way, put the rest in a suet cage. And
it miraculously appears like sitting outside the little search area where you're going to work. And you're like, what elves? Oh my gosh, they're fantastic. Right? Yes.
Right.
It was amazing.
I'm so glad you didn't say elves until now, because I would have been totally all about the elves.
oh.
I'd have been like, yep, you're the elves. I don't think they would have liked that.
No, they wouldn't have liked that very much, but it was more like magicians.
Yes.
It just would make magically things that would appear.
They got to be a part of it. Like they were a part of the reading the dog. They were a part of the conversations, and they brought such a richness to every part of the entire experience.
And a couple of them set hides. They set hides.
They were setting hides. Yeah.
And I was really impressed with some hide setting.
So I have been fantastically blessed with two amazing interns. Julia and Jenny are amazing interns. And then Alyssa, who is local to me, is really stepped up and kind of an assistant instructor, which allowed us to have 4 stations for people to work through, which was absolutely amazing. And so, and the fun thing was watching some of the growth, even from Alyssa from last year to this year, and then Jenny and Julia from where they started at the beginning of the summer, where I'm like, nope, take this side and this side and go down there, pick where you're going to put your hides. I'll be down in 5 minutes to walk through you with it while you're placing it there. And we're doing awesome stuff. So
I think it was really cool that we were able to tap into some of your resources there for the camp. And the fact that they're there was just, that was super.
Well, seeing the difference that the hide placement and the systematic search seminars did earlier this summer. I mean, for me and for them, it's just every single seminar, I'm learning so much. It blows my mind. And then seeing how much they grew from those experiences of the hide placement seminar to then being able to do some of that this summer and then setting the hides for the students, like the amount of growth. Holy, you know what? I wish that I could be in my 20s again and get to have the experiences that they are.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's cool. We have kind of all the generations covered from, 20s to 50s. It's, it's kind of cool too, to have this whole mix of people with different kind of, from Maine, from Minnesota, from New Jersey, Missouri. It's cool to have kind of the experiences we all bring together.
Amazing. I want to thank you guys for putting up with not only all of the distraction camp stuff and heat and thunderstorms. We didn't lose any tents this year, so that was good. Right. And the exciting thing is by next year, the training building should be done. So that will provide us with some more options, because not only with the distraction camp going on, I've got farm drama and everything else going on. And so it's fun and interesting to always spend time with 2 fabulous trainers working on our own stuff and then showing how that works into everything else. And I know that the Home for Wayward Dog Trainers is coming to a close for this summer, which makes all of us very sad, but we're spinning up into other things. So Stacy, you've got some classes and stuff going on.
I do. I have 3 classes right now. I have Intro to Nosework. So if you want to get started off on the right foot, which you're not going to get the stuff off of a YouTube or a quick webinar or something like that. There's actual, there's 6 weeks of instruction that you have access to for a year, and you can get feedback for as little as $65. That is going on right now. If you want to start with a sport, there's also vehicles and exteriors, a class on that, and a class on setups for the less experienced dog. So more of like the green dog, but on Odor. So I have that going on, and a webinar coming up in September for container distractions. So that'll be really cool.
Oh my gosh, the videos you now have for that.
Oh, yeah. And ideas.
Yeah, all sorts of ideas. Yes.
All sorts of ideas. And you have your webinar.
Yep, my webinar
immediately.
immediately like Thursday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah. You have
so
to definitely sign up for that. That's going to be super. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. So I believe you have to sign up prior, but if you can't watch it, it's recorded and it goes into your FDSA library. It's through the Fenzi Dog Sports Academy. So it will reside out there. So you'll have access to it for like perpetuity.
Well, for at least a year.
Oh, for a year. I don't know all the rules, right? So I won't promise things I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
And Crystal
I'm changing mine up a little bit. So I have my functional obedience class that's online, and it's been kind of an open enrollment, but I'm going to switch back because I love the community feel that we had. And so I'm switching back to 6 weeks of dedicated time that we do it together. So you can join at any time, but it's going to be more of a dedicated, like mid-September to end of October of each day checking in, reviewing videos, and kind of having a community built up again. So I'm really looking forward to getting that little community again thriving. That was great fun.
Yes. And as always, everybody, thank you for listening in, and keep an eye out or an ear out on the podcast and an eye on the website for when we're releasing dates for distraction camps for next year. We are still hashing out details and timing for that.
Yep.
So check
a lot of demand for level 1. So we'll keep an eye out for that too. You don't want to miss it.
Yep. And check the show notes for all the stuff that we just mentioned, and go train.
Canine Detection Collaborative. We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to k9detectioncollaborative.com. That's K9detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.